So then you mentioned Charlie came along, and that was 1962 we decided. And what was his date of birth?
His date of birth was October 2nd, 1962, and his name was Charles Raymond Quinn, which was after Tom's grandfather, who was Charles Raymond McGonigal. And we liked the name, and somewhere along the line when Paul was real little, we started calling him Charlie, and I don't know why, do you?
No.
We just started doing that, and we did that maybe for a couple years, and then when he was a preschooler, and then we thought, this is silly, you know, we ought to be calling him, he's going to school, he ought to be called his real name. So we called him Paul, and then Charlie was born, so we called him Charlie. So we made it legal. And Charlie was, I had Charlie in such an easy time that I called Mary Drake, who lived across the street, and asked her if she'd come over, that I was starting to get pains. And when I got into the hospital, they wheeled me right into the delivery room, and I had Charlie that quick. And he was the last of our children to be born with normal birth. And it was certainly a very easy birth. And he was a little bit smaller. He weighed 8 something. I don't remember what, 8'2" or something like that. Smaller than Paul and Carolyn. But about Charlie.
What about Charlie? Well, you know, it's getting to the point where you get enough kids where you just kind of get confused about each individual kid. It's kind of hard to remember.
Charlie, I know he was always a very even disposition, and Charlie was always a thoughtful, pensive type person. And he had a wonderful sense of humor that if you didn't, Paul projected himself so much louder and more forceful over Charlie that you'd have to kind of listen to hear Charlie's remarks. You could let them pass if you wanted to, but he was quite clever, and he always did very well in school. And when Charlie was only a few months old is when we moved to Forest Avenue then. I think he was 5 months old when we moved to Forest.